Right. So yeah. Okay. Well, going back to the contractors issue, uh, I mean, how do you approve the contract? I mean, to me, it seems like it's a holdup, especially if because it's a step-by-step process. So, do y'all offer, like, in other words, if y'all have contractors that are already signed up with y'all, so people can use those contractors. Now, if they want to bring in their own contractor, they have to go through steps to get them approved to work on the house. I mean, don't you think that kind of hold things up a bit? Are there many problems associated with that?
Well, I think that just to clarify, what we did is we took, for the initiative program, which is the construction management, we bid a pool of contractors and offered the landlords the option to go into that particular program. And what that meant is that, as the gentleman was just saying, they needed to stop work with their existing contractor if they had one. Many of the landlords did not have and were not under construction, and so this was probably a better option for them because they didn't have to stop work. They actually could start work. That contractor pool, then we marry the person and the contractor together. They sign the legal documents between themselves, and they get underway. Again, we've had to do a number of inspections and lead-based paint and all of those regulatory things that we've been talking about in order to get that moving. But again, we've got the 200 properties ready to go. We're moving through that pipeline so that we can get those under construction.
Yeah, and I know because we didn't have to. I was very, very blessed at Katrina. We had 16 trees down at my house, and not one of them hit my house.
Wow.
And we were out of electricity. We came back from Arkansas with generators, and we were pretty much back in action in a few days. And what I did in those days after Katrina was like, I kind of thought it would be fun to be in a canoe, but since I'm a lawyer, I went and I worked in the permit office. And I mean, and people don't realize when they talk about even getting a bank loan, because banks, they are like freaky scared of everything. They think everyone's out to take their money and never give it back. But the law requires all this stuff that has never been very easy or reputed to be very easy to do in New Orleans, like getting permits. And when you've got just the thousands and thousands and thousands of people out of electricity, just the electricians getting a permit to put in electricity, it was a major problem. Because the process itself to legally build, which again the banks require all that little, their life revolves around that, but the ability of the system to deliver that paperwork was, I mean, completely overwhelmed and basically non-existent. And you ended up kind of like almost back in the Stone Age. I mean, there were some people were getting permits, but a lot of people were getting electricity. A lot more people were getting electricity than were getting permits to have it done because there was nothing else to do. But to a bank, if you got your electricity on, an electrician came and they say, well, we're supposed to fund a loan. I mean, it's like, and you don't have your permit, it's like you're dead. You don't get the money. That's just the way they think.
Right, and the loss of documentation that people have experienced has been so severe.
And people don't realize when you lose your home, and before Katrina, of course, it was typically fires. But when you lose everything, people don't realize what that is. Everything. That's your wallet. That's your license. That's your papers, your titles. Everything is everything. And it was a much worse situation, and it wasn't one, as we all know, that was just fixed in a couple of weeks or even a few months. It's really been a long, long process, and I can see the position that landlords are in, saying, "Hey, you got my money. How come I can't have it?" And at the same time, the system, I think, was just what we thought was a legal system of putting together loans and building was just completely swamped by the process of so many people getting wiped out at once. But then you're trying to right that. Now you're putting units where people can rent low-income housing every month, more and more.
We are.
So how many more do we have to go?
We have. Sorry. In the city of New Orleans, we expect that we'll build about 8,000 units.
8,000, awesome.
We're at about
Wow.
3,000.
Great.
Units.
Okay. Well, let's see. We got T on line one. Hello, T.
Hi. Yes, I just want to support your agency, ma'am, on one of the issues that someone referred to as red tape. The checking to see if property is environmentally sound. I believe that I'd like to commend your agency for doing that. People want to rent to poor people or low-income people and then subject them to all kinds of harsh or health-endangering environments, and it's not right. So I appreciate the environmentally sound part of your process and the clearing of the titles and things. That's just common sense. So the Republican jargon, rhetoric about red tape that we hear so often and has caused a lot of financial or economic hardship for this country, it doesn't work on everybody. Some people can see through it. And if you need red tape to keep things functioning as they should, then you're going to have to just put up with it. There's a such thing as good administration that can make that the process work better. And so what we need is good administration, and I support you on some aspects of the red tape. Now, the losing of paper and things like that, that's inexcusable. But the other things, ma'am, I'd like to commend you. Thank you. That's all I want to say.
Thank you so much for your call. And, yeah, I mean, that's the problem with, what the law looks like. It depends a lot what, where you are in the food chain. But caller raised a great point, which is these things were put in place to protect people. They didn't want people to just go hooking up electrical wires to houses and have them burned down. But when they made the laws and they set up the number of people to carry out the laws and the inspections, they didn't think we were going to lose 82,000 rental units in a couple of days. Right. And so sometimes the law is kind of sitting there. I saw General Honore give a speech at the Conclave on Diversity earlier in the year, and he's saying, you come into a disaster like this, and the first thing you do is you got to say, here's the rules. Okay, we're getting rid of all the rules. Because the rules were made at a time when things were not like they are now. And that's, I think, a legitimate challenge. No one really feels like government can do things very well anyway. But government, was the only entity that could come up with the dollars. And so there you go. So you've got a typical push and pull situation. These folks seem like they're really, wanting to get their money, but you look like you're doing all you can. We've got Terry online, so let's see what Terry's got to say. Hello, Terry.
Yes, hello.
Hi, welcome to the show.
Yes, thank you for taking my call. This is in reference to application being made in 206 for the program. And in 207, I attended an interview where CD was recorded. And when I returned back to New Orleans after waiting a while, they said they don't have any record of the application.
So, she's saying they have no record of her application.
Okay, well, go ahead.
We've been very lenient through appeals. So if someone feels like they submitted their application and it wasn't received or was lost, we've done very well with overturning appeals. So I would ask this lady if she would maybe speak with Diana. We can get her information if she has an appeal. There's an appeal process. Yeah,
Terry, it sounds like they want to try to they want to have sleepy judges, and they want to have the prosecutors unprepared and give you the best defense lawyer to present your case and to try to get you through if they can. So why don't you hang on and you
don't have to get a lawyer.
And you don't even which is really that personally saddens me, but why don't you hang on and see if these folks can maybe help get your issue plugged back in. If that's the case, if it's lost paper, it sounds like they'll try to help you.
Thank you very much.
Just hang on the line, and Don's going to switch you over, okay? And, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to take a short break right now. We'll be right back, and we'd like you to join us here at 504-260-9265 WBOK. We are fixing rental properties right here on the radio right now. If you're having an issue with your road home money for your rental property, give us a call because we're going to get on it right now. We'll be back in just a few minutes. Don't go anywhere.